वेल हम रेत से मकान नहीं बनाना चाहते हैं, हम अपना घर बनाना चाहते हैं. So will Ghulam Nabi Azad make Congress bigger? That's the question we are asking this evening. Joining us this evening, Tuhin Sinha of the BJP, Arshpreet Singh of the Congress Party, Sandeep Ghosh, political commentator. Thank you very much for joining us. But I'm going to start with the Congress Party first. Arshpreet, do you get this sense that it was a deliberate choosing of date by Ghulam Nabi Azad? You had your massive Halla Bol rally in the national capital, but there in Jammu, Ghulam Nabi Azad was not letting you rest in peace.
See, number one, Mr. Azad has proven through his statements that he has double standards. He said the Congress party hasn't been doing much from the last 8 years, from the last 9 years. Then why did Mr. Azad not raise his voice back then? Number two, why did he not quit the party? Number three, you know, it is but obvious that the Congress party is too big a party. We have lakhs and crores of people in it. And it is not the leaders that matter, it is the ideology and the workers of the party that matter. A bucket going out of the sea wouldn't make much of a difference. However, we appreciate the amount of democracy and freedom of speech and expression our leaders can exercise. Even after leaving the party, they can speak about it. Unless it is the BJP. You cannot speak no matter what. What the BJP did with Mr. Advani after, Mr. Modi used to touch his feet, we stopped seeing Mr. Advani in the Lok Sabha, in the Rajya Sabha, in any press conference. Nowhere he could be seen. We have seen the amount of dissent that the BJP party entertains and how much, freedom people are allowed to speak. Unless you have your surname as Mr. Modi, you cannot speak. Only Mr. Modi can speak. Nobody else in the party has the freedom of speech and expression. And number four, the leaders basically who are giving us examples, who are giving us lectures, should just see one thing. That the last chain of rallies and events and protests that the Congress party has been putting up, they have been massively successful, that have resonated with the entire country. So I'll just say one thing, that Congress party will come back stronger and better than ever.
Okay.
And time will testify to this statement.
Arshpreet, a couple of points here which I'm going to come back to you on. First of all, Ghulam Nabi Azad says he did raise it earlier within the party forum, CWC. For 1 year, no effort was taken. Second, we'll have to wait. The real test on whether you're going to come back is actually going to be on the Gujarat and the Himachal elections. So we'll have to wait and watch. Third, you're going to point a finger at the BJP or the Advani issue. Ghulam Nabi Azad and many seniors like him also say that with Rahul's time, we are also being pushed out. But I'm going to be fair enough and give you a chance to speak on that. I'm going to get in a word from Tuhin Sinha from the BJP. Mr. Sinha, I just straight question. If Ghulam Nabi Azad tomorrow wants to come and join the BJP, is he welcome? One. And if he does so, aren't you going to essentially strengthen this argument of the Congress party that you dictate to people, those who don't even join the BJP but leave the Congress party on the choosing the timing? Was the BJP responsible for telling Mr. Azad that Aji rally karo in Jammu when Rahul Gandhi is going to do it in the Ramlila Maidan?
Well, good evening, Pallavi. Good evening to all your viewers and to my co-panelists. Well, I think you need to realize that the Congress is a sunken ship, and whether today it is Ghulam Nabi Azad, but over a period of the last 3 years, this has been happening. Please don't underestimate Ghulam Nabi Azad so much that today you are insinuating motives and thinking that BJP is responsible for his rally. I think a time comes when everybody has to think about his future. And today, Congress people can still insist that, everybody within the Congress wants Rahul Gandhi to be their chief, but then the size of that Congress has shrunk to 1/4 of what it used to be. So if it is happy continuing its losing spree, God bless them. As far as your other question is concerned, it is very hypothetical in nature. It is for Mr. Azad to take all decisions regarding his political future. And in politics, we can't predict what his decision would be, what the results of a future elections in Kashmir would be. But we would take a decision in the interests of the state, in the interests of the country, as we have always taken. I think there are two things which should ideally bother Rahul Gandhi today. One is the complete collapse of law and order in the remaining Congress states, whether it is Rajasthan or Jharkhand, and two is the mass exodus of all responsible leaders from his party. But instead, he's back to his antics and to his gimmicks just to ensure that he gets re-elected as Congress president and Shashi Tharoor does not compete with him.
Oh, Okay, that's the first I've heard. Okay.